very random video, but I recently did purchase this new skin for Presswerk, and the main reason is because I never use Presswerk, and I'm trying to understand why is it that I have this really good compressor plugin, Dynamics plugin, and I just never use it. And I did come to the conclusion that it's the interface. And I know the rule of thumb, and really the rule is always trust your ear, use your ear, use your ear. And there's truth to that, of course, but I'd be lying if I didn't say that the interface plays a big role in my own plugin selection. And so this is just kind of a random video talking about why it matters and giving an example with this new skin that they've made for Presswerk. So I'll give like one example here first, and it has to do with like tape plugins. And so I have a lot of tape plugins, but I do find that when I'm producing, I tend to just by default go with the Softube tape. And the reason for that is it's very easy for me to go in, get my input, get my output, choose my types of tape, choose my tape speed, and just drive the amount in until it sounds good. And this probably isn't the best sounding tape plugin on the market. It's probably not the best sounding tape plugin that I have, but it's the one that I go to because it's just the fastest and the interface just makes a lot of sense. And so that's like one just random example that I can give you in terms of where interface matters. Another example, and it's not at all meant to knock Airwindows, but I love a lot of their plugins. I really do, but I run into the issue of with their Dynamics plugins not having that gain reduction meter. And honestly, even if the interface just looked like this and then there was like a little window that just showed gain reduction, I would feel so much more comfortable about using it. And again, you should be trusting your ears. I should be trusting my ears. I've been doing this long enough. However, I just don't like that. I'm just so accustomed to seeing gain reduction that I have such a hard time feeling confident about like putting something in here. So here we have this little vocal sound. And I'm going to go ahead and do some compression on it. And we'll be like aggressive. Okay, so here we go. And maybe so that we can really like hear this, let's go ahead and put it like on the master bus. Okay, now that's not the right settings to be using on the master bus, but we can obviously hear what it's doing. Let's put this back more towards the middle setting. So we can definitely hear that it's doing something. You can kind of hear the characteristic of the compression, but without that gain reduction meter, at least for me, it's very hard to feel confident about anything because it's all about response, right? It's all about the response of when that's kicking in. So it's not a knock on Airwindows because I love all these plugins. I think they're all amazing. I'm still just waiting for the day that somebody just adds that for all of the Dynamics processors because it would make a big difference, at least for me, just on like a subconscious level. But now let's actually get into more of the point of this video, and let's bring in Presswerk really quick. And I just kind of wanted to explain how when we're using the default skin, it's very difficult to know where to start. It's also not super obvious that they have some of those other preset windows. So if I go to the drop down, then I can find the different preset windows like this, and that's great. And these do then work actually quite good and quite simply, and I think that it's laid out very well. But definitely from the initialized view, it's hard to know where to get started. It's like, normally you're going to be pulling down the threshold and adjusting the attack and release, but they're kind of existing in very different spots. In fact, they're existing on the left and like on the right. And not that there's a problem with this interface, because if this is something that you like and you're comfortable with, you're going to pull to it. But for me, I find that I've never really used this compressor ever. And so now that I've got this new skin, there's still a reason why I'm probably almost never going to use this compressor. However, this skin works much better. It's much more logical to me in terms of, here's my threshold, here's my ratio, here's my attack, here's my release. And then if I'm looking for like, where's the sidechain filter? Boom, that's over here. If I want to do saturation, it's over here. And then my final mix levels over on the far right side. So this then works much simpler for me. And then the more specialty controls are kind of down here at the bottom. So let's start by actually, again, bringing that on to just like the master channel here, so that I can just work with it on this one view the first time, because I probably wouldn't really use this view most of the time, to be honest. I'm going to choose one of those specialty modes just because it's going to go faster for me. But yeah, let's go ahead and just do something. Okay, so there you go. That's just me kind of locking in some settings. Maybe not the greatest settings in the world, but that would be a way that I would work with this and be able to work with it much quicker. And I know for a fact, if I was using that other view, I would have a much tougher time with it. So that's just one very quick, very basic example. But what I wanted to do was kind of then try to use Presswerk on all of these different tracks. I'll just do it like as fast as possible. Not saying that it's going to sound great, because these are just some random loop cloud samples that have been brought in. But we'll just try and just see with these different modes then if we can work very quickly with it and sometimes maybe take advantage of some of the more specialty features that are on there. So let's just go ahead and start with this vocal, and we'll just keep bringing stuff on as we go through. And I want to make sure that we're really seeing a good amount of compression on all of these tracks. Or what's nice about these different modes now on this one is that we have the ability to do things like turn auto makeup on from this view. Okay, nice. Okay, this one I'm going to have to basically do in solo so I can actually hear what's happening. What do we want to use for this one? Let's try using the easy comp. And then what's nice is, again, I do have access to the filter down here. Okay, let's just do something a little bit gentle, but I do want to catch those peaks. So let's go fast. Sure, let's just go right to there, maybe. Go 2.5. Okay. Okay, yeah, that's compressing it pretty hard. And then let's see if we can get this to kind of work with the drums a little bit. We really would need like a sidechain compression on this as well, which I don't think I'm going to do in this example, but. All right, nice. I think this guitar is a stereo file. So I may just barely touch the sides and only really compress the mids. And again, I want this to be kind of fast to catch that transient. And then we'll let the sides be a little different here. Sure, let's do something like that. Then I can increase the volume on the sides a little. Bass is way too loud. Well, that bass needs a lot of work apart from compression. So yeah, let's just turn that kind of way down. Okay, and then what do we have here? A synth. And yeah, this one as well, especially if we're going to do it after the delay, we could probably use that same mode as before if we wanted to. Or we could use the easy comp. Now let's just use the easy comp. And yeah, let's let it be nice and clicky. And then we might need to go into the limiter after this. All right. And then, yeah, maybe I'll use the limiter also. All right, cool. Now let's mix that back in. Yep, I just think we're not going to use that at all. After compressing it, it just sounds like it's not really going to be a help. And then we have our master track here. And sure, let's go for something a little punchier. We'll just get about 2 or so dB of gain reduction. Cool. And then we can again use the limiter before we kind of hit that true peak limiter. And yeah, this is going pretty fast. I mean, in real life, this isn't the way that you would go about doing something like this probably, but I'll set this to like -2. We're not even touching this one. So I'm just going to bring this final one up just a tiny bit until I see something. Okay, so we've now used Presswerk with the new interface on all of these different parts. We've gone very quickly, or maybe not as quick as like somebody who's doing this all the time every day, but for me, that was relatively quick. This is not really my area of expertise. But then, yeah, let's go ahead and let's like map these all to a key. And then we'll go ahead and turn everything on and off and just kind of hear what we've done. And there you go. And I mean, this really isn't a video about compression. It's more a video about interface. And where interface matters, though, does tend to be with dynamics processors, compressors, with EQs. There are some EQs that might sound amazing, but the interface is just like unwieldy. Like I think one of the EQs I have that's like that might be this one. Where, yeah, I mean, this to me is like a nightmare to try to work with. I understand how it's working. I know how it's laid out and everything, and it's not like that complicated to use, but like something about this interface is just like overwhelming. And then, of course, synthesizers is where it really matters too, just based on all of the parameters that you have to work with. But I think this example here with Presswerk is a great example where having a different interface can make a big difference in terms of, is this something that I want to pull to or not regularly? And I still don't think I'm going to use this that much. One of the main reasons is I hate that you can't do like stepped controls on the attack and the release time. For whatever reason, with compressors, I just prefer having like stepped controls versus a freewheeling slider. I don't know why. But otherwise, yeah, that's going to do it for this video. And feel free to share in the comments below if interface ever plays a role in you choosing certain plugins over others. And I think for most of us, no matter how many years you've been doing this, I think there's a big part of it where it does. So very random video today, but hope that was maybe useful to a couple people. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope everybody has an amazing day. Take care.